Hey everyone, and welcome to the 50th episode of the Three Strangers podcast. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Bill.
And we have so many amazing, wonderful guests here today. Let's start first with our beautiful cat that we have on screen right now.
This is Milo, everyone. He's having a great time. He's so happy to be here.
Looks very happy.
You can see it in his eyes.
Hi, Milo.
And of course, we have back Caitlin Erin O'Neill. Thank you for coming on back. We told you the 50th episode when we're doing Blair Witch, we're getting you back on.
I know. I'm so honored you asked me to come back. I'm so excited about this. I watched the movie, and I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm more excited to hear Bill's thoughts. There's another.
And I'm so sorry. I just had to match energy for a second here.
I love that.
This is Figaro. He's a little camera shy though. You can tell he's not super happy to be on camera. But what's it? I am excited to talk about this. But if you want to introduce the other guest, Ryan, before we get into
yes, of course we have who we joke around all the time is the fourth stranger on the podcast. We have Savannah.
What's up, Savannah?
Yay! Wait, no. The thing is that I'm the third stranger because Bill's not a part of it anymore. That's the joke.
I was okay. I had one sick day. We cannot. I'll start with the Bill
And who did they call to replace you?
That was very interesting. Well, a spin-off show. You can have a spin-off show where I don't know. We'll figure it out.
And then, of course, someone who I always watch horror movies with, who is always the first one to be like, let's go see this horror movie together. And funny enough, the episode we have him on, we don't talk about a horror movie. It is, of course, Austin Michael.
What's good?
What's up, Austin Michael?
Yay.
What's up, dude?
Yay.
I was waiting for him to say something about Bill, too, since
Yeah.
Caitlin Savannah said something.
Yeah. Thank you for letting you up there. Okay, jeez. I'm like,
Bill's okay.
thank you, Austin Michael. Thank you. Okay, see,
Wow.
I can tell we're already.
There's the lines already.
The lines are being drawn already. You do not want to be on Team Bill for this one. I'll tell you that much. It is pretty tough out here. But all right, what are we doing today?
We,
Ryan?
of course,
Yep.
are talking about something we have hyped up for a while. The Blair Witch Project. And if you are just listening in, I am holding up a steelbook of the Blair Witch Project, which also has the really bad 2017 Blair Witch.
God, that's right.
Good.
Okay. Just throwing it in there for
Yeah.
extra? Okay. Jeez.
We'll throw that in there.
There's a remake?
Man. There's a sequel that was made a
Is
few
it a
years
sequel?
later. There is a
is?
sequel, and there's a kind of remake, reimagining of it, where there is an actual Blair Witch.
So this was my first time ever seeing the movie.
Wow.
Just for context.
Oh, so Michael
My mother has been warning me for years that I should not watch it.
Your mother?
Yeah.
This was not a mother-approved horror movie.
No, she said she walked out of the theater
Whoa.
because it made her sick.
What?
Yeah.
So understandable.
Whoa.
That's really interesting. I heard at the time, I don't know if anybody can provide more context than me, but I heard it was quite the moral panic kind of thing at the time. People were there was religious groups and various other parent organizations that were keep your kids away for this movie and everything. Okay, maybe I'm previewing my thoughts a little bit here. I don't think it's that scary, even if you find,
No.
even if you're frightened easily, but.
She didn't walk out of the theater because she was scared. She walked out because she hates documentary and shaky camera. That's why.
Oh, so she was physically nauseous from the shaking of the camera.
Yes.
Okay.
Not scared.
To be clear, she did not like the movie either.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had the same exact reaction to Paranormal Activity, and I remember that one when we went to see it.
That's a much less shaky cam.
Yeah.
It's very still cam.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She also got a refund, if I remember. She was able to get her money back for
Yes,
seeing
she
the
did.
Blair Witch.
Always.
She made a fit.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. So, of course, The Blair Witch came out in 1999. People often cite it as the first found footage horror movie, although it is not. It's the first one that really set the subgenre off. Of course, you have Cannibal Holocaust that's kind of recognized now as the first. And then you have Ghost Watch, which has found footage, something we mentioned before, and a few others within that time.
Yeah, we
But-
have The Last Broadcast.
I think you're correct with that.
Yes.
Okay.
This became massive when this came out, where, like you were saying, the parent-teacher association, parents were like, do not let your kids watch this movie. They will become the Blair Witch. Like, there became outcry, panic. That always happens. I remember, like, a few years ago, movies coming out, Host, there was outcry about it, that there's demons over Zoom, you know? Or back in the days with, I know.
Were people saying
Back in the
that?
days.
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's when the pandemic started and no one knew what was happening. In the 80s, when Silent Night, Deadly Night came out, there was moral outcry because Santa can't be killing people. Santa should be preserved as a perfect entity. And of course, when we played the game with the Christian movie reviews, trying to guess what it was, we had the review from a preacher that went and saw this movie.
Yes.
Because kids were watching it.
It was literally, I remember it was literally contemporaneous. Like, it was like a 25-year-old review, you know? Yeah, that's crazy. Damn.
I think it's really important for anyone at home who isn't aware of the Blair Witch Project, the movie. It's important to know that when the movie first came out, or when the trailers for the movie first came out, they were actually done with movie posters that were missing posters, as in like, these people are missing, and provided real phone numbers with real addresses of the 3 actors who starred in the movie. It was an indie film, so we're talking, I think, a budget of $50,000, I think is what I saw. It was fundraised almost completely. And then so essentially the marketing around the movie wasn't that it was a movie. It was that there was footage of these 3 kids who had gone missing. And I think that also added to the uproar during the premiere. They were talking about the moral questioning of should you go see it, because it's literally about missing kids.
I also want to say, to tie into that, Nick, I'm pretty sure when I was doing some research for this, that this was kind of an early example where a little bit of, like, viral marketing was used, where, like, I believe there was, like, websites that were, like, dedicated to, like, this, like, you know, the case that is, like, presented, like, in the thing, like, hey, these, like, we saw these 3 people, like, go missing, like, you know, like, you know, they went into the woods and they haven't been seen since, like, you know, and everything. So it was presented as real. And honestly, I don't want to, you know, fault. I think it's in bad form to be like, oh, like, people were, like, so dumb, like, back in the day. I just think it comes down to, like, a media literacy thing, where it's like, you know, like, people just weren't as exposed to, like, things like, we live in a time when the internet has, like, a lot of, like, misinformation stuff that we can kind of, like, you know, point out and be like, hey, that doesn't seem quite right. But back then, I guess most people thought that, like, you know, things that were presented to them that way were pretty much factual. Although that would be very scary if that was true.
Yeah. And I mean, keep in mind, this is pre-Y2K. This is just before the dawn of Y2K started getting talked about. So I think that plays into it too. Again, what you were saying, people believed what they saw, because how could they not?
I actually saw too. I was doing a little bit of research after I watched the movie, and they had come out with documentaries about the Blair Witch around the time that this movie came out. And so kids were watching these documentaries about the Blair Witch, and they made it seem very real, and they made up stories about victims of the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
And so kids were seeing this and thinking it was real, and then seeing the true story of what happened to the 3 kids who disappeared. And a lot of people, I've also been asking people what they think of the film prior to watching it, and a lot of people at the time believed it was real, which is so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
And
guys
I
see it
love
when it
how...
came out?
What?
Did you see it, like, closer to when it came out? When did you watch it for the first time?
I watched it for the first time in college, maybe, actually it was like freshman year, so maybe like 8 years ago. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds like Austin Michael's mom saw it
At the
at
time.
the
Yes.
premiere.
Yeah, I was born for, like, maybe 20 days when this came out,
Yeah.
so I don't think my parents wanted me to watch it yet.
Yeah. You didn't cry at all. You didn't cry at all, Ryan, actually.
No.
When you saw it, I bet you didn't know.
Did your parents see it, Ryan?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Absolutely not. They hate horror.
That's so funny to think that they hate horror when you come from. Well, like honestly, like if we could like reel this back even further, if somebody could enlighten me if they can, the Blair Witch story, like what is that exactly? I honestly don't know beyond what is presented in the film. Is it like does it have like a historical basis?
So it's a fictional legend that they use like other like legends of like from the 1600s. I think I read something in Russia that was based off of, but it's all not true.
Okay, like
there's no like real
completely fabricated, but very in depth.
Yes, and they took the time to make it fabricated. And I love how in the movie itself, there's even the reference of, oh, I think I might have seen a documentary about it. Referencing the documentaries that were made, like, with the movie. But another little fun tidbit about this movie is the third trailer that they made before, like, its release was shown before The Phantom Menace.
As in Star Wars?
Yes, as in Star Wars, The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
It's kind of... Oh, I was going to say something that I think about a lot. This is weird. I was the... I don't know if anyone else can relate to this. When you have, like cousins, like, when you think about your cousins, like, you can sometimes group them into different ages of when, like, people in your family were having kids. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But, I was the youngest of like the older group of kids, and I remember they would talk about this movie all the time, and like have like I weirdly knew about like the iconography of the film, just like various shots and like the wooden, you know, like the actual, you know, like the kind of rune of like, you know, the like the Blair Witch itself, way before I even knew like what this like movie was like about. And so I think about that a lot, you know, as kind of like, you know, it was just outside of it. It kind of sounds like just like based on our age demographics, like it was just outside of, you know, even when we would be watching movies at all. So, you know, thing's been around for a little while now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for our wonderful guests to kind of announce what side they lean on.
Whoa.
Towards liking it
What are you talking about?
or not liking it. Because we already have our clear Nick loves this movie. And
I do.
Bill
I do.
does not.
Well, clearly. Like, what I need... I kind of want to define this like versus dislike. Like, are you talking about, like, if it works as a horror movie? If you, like, think it's a good film? If you think it's a good, like, found film? Like, I actually, like... Nick, why do you... When you say that Nick likes this, in what context, Nick?
I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good film. Those are synonymous.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good horror movie. I think it's a good play on suspense. I do think it's kind of a kingpin of this subgenre that is so iconic to me and it's my favorite subgenres. And I don't know. I just, I don't know. I like it all around. And I did think it was scary when I watched it.
Okay. Well, we'll have a lot to talk about. You know, obviously.
And that's what we're here with our guests.
No surprise. But yes, I do want to hear from our guests that watch this, how they feel about it, how it works as a movie, and if it scared them also.
Let's start with Savannah.
I'd say I'm like pretty in the middle. I gave it, in my rewatch, I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. I don't really like documentary horror in the first place. I think the acting is really good, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of really good scenes in it. I was not scared during it, and I don't remember being scared when I first watched it either. Yeah, I don't know. I feel pretty like in the middle about it, because I don't think the suspense was as good as I wanted it to be. And I think the only scary part would be, us, Michael and I were talking about this, the only scary part is being trapped in the woods with Heather and how annoying she is. But other than that, I don't know. I still like it though.
All right, that's honestly, I literally just put it in Letterboxd 2 as 3 stars after rewatch.
Oh really?
Like literally exactly that. But all right, I don't even need to talk about it after that because you literally took all my thoughts. So Austin, Michael, your turn. What do you think?
Okay, since watching the movie, I have formulated my thoughts a bit. First time viewer, as I said, never seen this before, so this is a completely fresh take as of Monday. I was actually enjoying it at first. Like, I enjoyed the suspense
You say
of
at
the
first.
beginning. Yeah, yes, at first.
Okay.
Chose my words intentionally there. I was enjoying it at first, but I don't know, just somewhere probably around the 35 to 45 minute mark, it just started to feel kind of old. I don't know, like all of the screaming at each other for like an hour and 15 minutes just kind of got old towards the end. I didn't feel a whole lot of suspense or horror, maybe a little. And you know, I appreciate the social engineering of the movie. Like, it was cool reading about that after the fact, but as a first-time viewer, like I had no context on that besides a couple things that Savannah told me on the side. You know, like, oh, the cast didn't know this was gonna happen, or they were given different directions. I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, I enjoy that, but does that mean I enjoy the movie? And I'd say no. I read a lot about people saying, you know, you had to be there for the social engineering and all the side documentaries and the missing people posters and stuff like that. And again, I appreciate that, but to me, the measure of a good movie is not how it's more about how it ages and how it stands up to the test of time. Like, my favorite movie all time is like Lord of the Rings, and that's like timeless.
True.
And I just didn't get this. I didn't get that feeling. Nor was I particularly scared. I will give a little bit of credit though. I live in the woods, and right after the movie, I left my house to go pick up my kids from my parents, and I heard a noise in the woods, and my wife and I looked at each other and we're like, you know,
Alright, let's go.
we kind of walked. We walked a little bit faster in the car. I will give it that. So that's my take.
So, I mean, had that impact. I want to point out that, like,
Yeah,
it scared you enough where it suddenly made you afraid of the woods.
I think the feeling I got was like, oh crap, I'm in the woods. Like, if there was an emergency, like, who's gonna hear me? Who's gonna help me? You know, police are like 10 minutes away or something like that. You know, that's the feeling that was given.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good, and I want to thank both of you for your guys' comments. I can feel us kind of, you know, like kind of boxing Nick into a corner. That's going to be very hard to escape.
I want to thank
So
both
I
of
wanna
you for
thank
being
both of
on
you.
my opinionated side. Thank you. Yeah, that's good, Bill. That's good.
Thank you guys.
Very political.
Thank you guys. And of course, we still need to hear from Kate, though.
Yeah. So, Kate, what
Okay.
do you think?
Can I have a drum roll? Can I request that?
Yeah, we can get a drum roll.
Yes.
Okay, ready? Thank you. I loved this movie. Woo! I loved it so much. That said, I would never ever watch it again. You couldn't pay me enough. It's never happened. I feel it depends how you define good movie. I don't know much about acting. I thought it was great. I've heard other people say it was bad. I was terrified. I think when it comes to horror movies, like, I'll define a good horror movie as something I'm invested in and something I'm scared by. I had to pause this movie and remind myself that it wasn't real. I had to speak to myself on the couch and go, it's not real. It's not real. They're just actors, Caitlin. Terrifying to me. So I had a great time watching it. I was very immersed in the Blair Witch world. Would never watch it again. Very scary for me.
Okay.
Wow.
How much did you know about it going into
I've never
it?
seen it. I watched it for the first time this morning, actually, so it's very fresh on the mind. And I think all I knew, I was asking some people about it last night, and I had heard mixed opinions. Some people love it. A lot of people find it very nostalgic, and that's why they love it, because they watched it when they were kids. And I went in thinking it was going to be a bad movie. I'm not going to lie.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to
I
you.
had a great time.
You had a good time.
I thought it was great. I thought it was so scary. And I feel like it felt very real, which I find to make the best horror movies.
Yes. Yes.
The more realistic they are,
Yes.
the more scared I'll be. So I think that makes a great horror movie. I
Yes.
don't love watching them, again, but I do think that it was a good horror movie.
Yes.
See, I thought this was just going to be so easy. I thought that, like, you know, we were going to, like, I was just, like, kind of, like, put, like, a bow on it. like, you know, Blair Witch is mid, like, you know, kind of like move on and everything. I
Great
guess we
movie.
gotta get down to brass tacks with them. Get down to brass tacks.
We do.
I don't know if I can take from the mic a little bit. I actually really love talking about Blair Witch because I think it's like one of those things like where for most people it is sort of a love it or hate it experience. And I have this frustrating thing that I don't like when there is a movie that is like, you know, has that kind of thing and I end up on the like negative side of that. I'm like, no, wait a second. Like, hey, like, you know, like what's going on? I think what it is for me, I know a lot of us, you know, grew up in rather rural places. I am not scared, but qualify. I am not scared by the woods as a conceptually. I am scared of the woods at night when you can't like really see what's going on, and if you're lost in the woods, that's like, you know, of course, like kind of like, you know, something that's like effective. I think that might be where a lot of like, you know, because in Blair Witch, like you're sort of like presented like with like a situation where like three people like, you know, like end up in the woods and it's sort of like they didn't, I guess where it works for me the most is that it's kind of bitter, right? Like they didn't need to like end up in this situation, right?
Mhm.
They sort of like ensnared themselves like in this like whole thing by kind of poking and prodding and disrespecting, you know, like the Blair Witch as it's presented like in the movie when they shouldn't have. I just something for me, and it's really funny what you, Savannah, and what you, Austin Michael, were like saying before, that like after like a certain amount of time, it's sort of like where like the movie scares kind of begin and end do seem to be this like, you know, concept of like people getting very panicked because they're in the situation that they're finding themselves in, and of course, you know, it gets a little annoying, honestly, after a little bit. The one scene that I actually think about a lot, like it's sort of in, I'd be surprised if this is the same scene that you guys kind of think about when you think about Blair Witch. Like what's like the one like thing that grabs you? There is, I forget exactly how it happens in the movie. I will admit I did not like, I saw Blair Witch like something like a year and a half ago. I didn't rewatch it exclusively for this, even though I'm so much of a hater that I probably should have. You know, like I really like, you know, I want to, you know, like hate, like informed, you know.
Hate informed, very nice.
Yeah, hate informed. Yeah, you can don't start hashtagging that. But but anyway, what I'll say for it. There's this one scene where they realize that they have been essentially going in circles, even though they've been moving in the same direction the entire time. And I believe it's like a creek or something that tips them off.
Yes, yeah, it's a creek.
That is like, I remember that was like the one like kind of gotcha that really like got me like in the film, because like I was like, oh, that is like objectively horrifying if like reality is being warped like against your will, and like you literally are. It is so far beyond something that you can comprehend that it's you know, it's horrifying, almost like cosmically.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think that they did a good job making that moment feel hopeless. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see more of the hopeless moments instead of all of the screaming and like just the general chaos and like blaming and stuff. Yeah, I liked the moments that felt hopeless, because that's what got me to empathize with the actors, the people in the movie.
And I do want to, I'm going to just jump in really quickly here and say that we could go full spoilers. I mean, Bill like just said a moment right there, but like we could go full spoilers. If you haven't seen it before, I think watch it. It's such an important film in horror history that if you're watching a horror movie podcast, you should probably watch The Blair Witch.
Yeah.
But
Can I jump in with a fun
you guys
fact?
can go back. Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, I actually read this morning that moment where they see that trunk in the woods that they had just passed and they realized they're going in circles was real. The actors were walking in the wrong direction and they realized they walked all day for nothing. So a lot of their reaction was genuine.
Yeah, it was real, it was genuine.
Yes. And then I also read a theory, or I don't know, I read something online saying that they, at that point, they only had a compass to navigate. Mm-hmm. And I read someone was explaining that all of the microphone and like audio equipment they had has like a magnetic, I'm not going to explain this well, but there's something about it that's going to make a compass wrong. So they were walking south all day, but it's likely that the compass just wasn't correct.
So they believe
that's a theory
they were
anyway.
actually going south then. Like they really believed it. Yeah,
Wow.
that moment felt like really authentic to me. But a lot of the rest of the movie, which I think is why I appreciated this so much, but a lot of the rest of the movie just felt so like hyperbolic and exaggerated. Like these are improv actors, and they feel like they have to make a big reaction to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when it came out, and I feel like there's always this discourse around films that instantly is like, the acting's bad. I feel like that always becomes like the first negative that people say about movies. I remember The Thing coming out. Like, I mean, I wasn't born, but you know what I'm trying to say. With The Thing, The Thing famously did not do well. It bombed. And there were things said that the acting was bad.
Wrong.
Which is just objectively wrong. And in this, a lot of it is improvised, right?
Yeah.
But there's moments that you're like, wow, like I really felt that. Like you said with the creek, when they realize that they've been walking in a circle, that moment feels so real. I think at the end, the house feels very real. I could feel the panic in all of them once they're in the house and they're looking for Josh. But I feel like towards the beginning where like things start kind of happening, their reactions feel a little bit too much at that point. And I don't know if it's because also with how it was filmed, I heard that like set conditions were not good, and that makes sense. You're walking in the woods for an entire shooting day and probably used about 2 minutes of film within that time. So that moment feels real, but I feel like that first night and the second night, I'm kind of like, I don't know about some of the reactions, like how they are. But after that creek moment, I was like, okay, I'm in. Like this, yes, that is how I would react in that situation. Like that is a very genuine reaction.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What? Go ahead. Oh.
No, you're good. I want to hear what you're saying.
I'm curious. Well, I want to hear what Kate and Savannah have to say. Like, what moment stands out to them the most? Like, what sticks with them?
Well, about like the beginning where their reactions seem kind of like too much. Austin, Michael, and I, because we watched it together, we could not get over the beginning when they first see the rock piles, and they just keep on zooming in on like the arguably less important rock pile that's just on the ground, and they're like, it must be an Indian burial ground. Then there's like a cooler, creepier rock pile in the tree that makes less sense, and they're like barely looking at that or talking about that. I thought that was very funny. But my favorite scene would probably be, and the reason why I can't rate this movie too high is because I think what makes it a lot better for me is knowing like the behind the scenes stuff and the making of it. But my favorite scene is when it's revealed that the one guy, I forget his name, kicked the map in the creek. And I love Heather's reaction to just like yelling at him because she's been getting blamed for it for like hours of them walking, getting blamed for losing the map, and these guys are just ganging up on her. And she just like, I think she bites him too. Like she just goes crazy on him. I love that scene so much. I think she's such a good actor in that scene, because that would genuinely be my reaction too. If two grown men were ganging up on me, telling me I lost this map and we're lost because of me. Meanwhile, I'm the only one who knows how to actually read a map. And then I find out he just kicked in the river just cuz. I would be so mad. I would go absolutely crazy.
They mentioned that she's like bit them a few times. Like,
yes.
You keep on biting me. It's like, when did this happen multiple times?
Oh, she's a biter. Fun fact about that. So I learned today, actually, I didn't know this before. No, not about bite.
The map.
Fun fact, I learned how to bite people. No, So the cast was originally supposed to be 3 men. And then Ray Hance walked in and they were like, I think it has to be her. I think she has to be in this. And so they got her in. And then they casted her. And I feel like it shows. Like, I think it shows in some of those moments, in her reaction moments, and obviously her big monologue scene, which is personally my answer about what sticks out. It really shows in some of her reactions that, like, oh, that she is the one that sells how real this feels to me. But anyway.
I don't know how true this was, but I was talking to Austin Michael about this. I believe I heard that the other two didn't know that he was gonna get rid of the map. Was that accurate? I was trying to find some stuff about it, and I've seen a couple sources say that the other two actors did not know that they would not have the map, and that he was told to get rid of it. If that is true.
I don't know if he was told. He might have been told to get rid of it, but I do know that that map was for the actors to show where they were going to go film, and I do know that it was lost. I don't know how intentional it was though. But that's a good question. But Kate, what stood out to you? What scene stands out?
I don't know if there's a particular scene that stands out. I think that the feeling of the panic growing throughout the film and the characters, and the way that you start out with these 3 different perspectives, and as the film goes on, people start to get more freaked out, and then you're left with just this one camera angle. I forget the main character's name. Do you remember?
Heather?
Heather, yeah. We're just stuck in Heather's perspective. And I think it just led to this feeling of being trapped and kind of feeling like you were in the woods experiencing this one point of view with them. And I think that really sold it for me. I loved that. And I know that people keep saying they didn't love the acting. I don't think it was too over the top, if I'm being honest. I think that Heather's dramatics were exactly how I would act if I were stuck in the woods with a voodoo witch who keeps leaving stuff outside of my tent. Like, absolutely, I'm losing my mind. Especially when she comes out of the tent and there's that wrapped bundle. And she's unwrapping it and she's having a panic attack after and talking to herself. I feel like that was so realistic to me. I can't imagine acting any other way. So I did really enjoy that.
I like that scene with the bundle. Yeah, that part.
And I love that you couldn't quite tell, because it's all handheld footage, so it's not very stable, and I couldn't even tell what it was. I had to go look it up and be like, what was in this bundle? And the fact that it's kind of right in front of you, but you don't get a clear shot, and it's still very mysterious, makes it even scarier.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of that added, and I loved.
Yeah, the director they really wanted like so much reality of it, and I've heard that even in that bundle, I think it was Daniel Myrick that who he went to his local dentist, and it's actually teeth, that they used real teeth, and it was Josh's hair, I think, from what I hear, in that bundle. Like, wow, I think that what a commitment to like this reality.
I saw that too.
That's cool. I will say one other thing. I think the setting in which you watch this movie probably impacts your perception of it.
Yes.
Savannah and I watched it together, and we were like making jokes throughout it, so I think that probably has some impact on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would be interested to rewatch it alone and see if I have a different perspective.
I will say I did watch it alone in my apartment, and I kept hearing my air conditioner makes noise, and my neighbor was doing the washing, and I was hearing all these noises around me, and I'm all by myself. I watched it during the daytime too. I'm so glad I didn't watch it at night, but I was very jumpy. It was very scary.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it not alone, with my friend Dylan, who's supposed to be here today, but yeah, we watched it in the dark at night, all the lights off, probably like 11 p.m. or maybe 12 a.m. That is like the prime time to watch this, because, yeah, I think you're right. It's easy to watch this movie and joke. It's very easy, because then it just seems like you're watching like these high schoolers make an indie film. But then alone, when you're just left with your mind, it's a whole other experience for sure.
So
I mean,
what? Sorry,
I would say I watched both times that I've seen it. So I watched it years ago, like when I was in high school, and I just watched it again today, both times alone. First time at night, second time all the blinds down, lights off, like tried to get fully immersed into it. Setting definitely has a place in what makes a horror movie good. I think of A Quiet Place. If you have someone in your theater who's just munching on popcorn when it's supposed to be absolutely silent, that's going to ruin your experience with the movie. You're not going to think that it's as good. So I always try to give a movie the best shot to like make it successful, and I always love to find out background information about it to not inform my opinion, but to learn more about it before I watch it. By the first time that I watched it, I didn't know anything about it. The second time, now I have a general idea of what it is. Films that have had an influence on it. I just watched a film that had a big influence on it, The Uninvited from 1945, which is the first horror film that made like supernatural films scary to modern audiences. It came out in 1944. Pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. But you could see where that supernatural influence is, where they're trying to create these scares. And something that we talk about with the supernatural subgenre is the link between that and psychological horror. And we could definitely see psychological horror within the Blair Witch. That's kind of the whole thing. It's very psychological. We don't really, I don't want to say see what happens, but it's left to our imagination what is happening. So I think that's something that I really love about the Blair Witch. And something else that I want to mention to kind of pivot to a new topic is the shaky cam debate of everything with found footage. Because there's some shots in this movie that are beautiful. Like when they first see like the sticks, like the bundle of sticks, like in that configuration, the rocks, and like how you said, Savannah, like how the cool ones they don't show, they just show the ones like randomly on the ground. But even just lingering on the shots of that in the woods and then going over the log, and I had me looking at the log like, is that in the same shape as the bundles? And it really isn't, but it makes you start to think that you're seeing things.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think maybe to that hater alert here to kind of when we're talking about like this kind of like aspects of like found footage and stuff, I think it's kind of like it's important for us to kind of like keep in mind that like this, how much of what we see in Blair Witch was like, hey, we are trying to make an emerging horror genre, and how much of it is like, hey, we made this movie on almost no money at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like one of like those things. I think stylistically, in some ways, like stuff with like the shaky cam, it was like, okay, we're gonna make this choice, right, to like use like a handheld kind of like like we're in, we're like, and it's very Gonzo, right? Like you're kind of like up close like to everything at all times. There is no like real, kind of like not to get too technical, but like it's like you're always kind of like following someone that is like, you see their POV, right? More or less. I think it's like kind of like interesting in that way to like, kind of like you were saying, like you want your mind to like sort of like, or what they wanted is your mind to kind of play tricks, to kind of fill in the gaps where there might be like some seams in the filmmaking itself. But ironically, that sort of became what found footage horror is kind of best known for. Like, what can we see as the audience that the people that are actively there presently just aren't aware of? I think it's kind of something.
Yeah, I also, Savannah and I were talking about this. I appreciated that there were things that we did not get to see, like the monster or whatever it is, right? Like the one part where she's running away from the tent and screaming like, "What is that? What is that?" I liked that part. And I think there were a couple things like that I did appreciate, because your mind gets to fill in the blanks.
There's a lot of movies where they show the monster when they should not, and I appreciate that this one knew not to show it, because I think that would have really changed my rating.
It's a smart decision. They probably do not have the money to.
Yeah, but I'd rather them not show it than a lot of movies where they don't have the budget for it, and it just looks like this CGI mess or like really bad makeup. Like, I'm a huge fan of Signs, but when they show the alien at the very end, it does not look good, and I wish they didn't show it.
Yeah.
The like video game character like selection scene that it, like.
That's a good example. That's a good tough example of that.
Yeah.
I literally was gonna go Signs, because I know how they feel about it, but I didn't have to.
Let's take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah. Oh, Sign supporter.
Good.
I have another fun fact.
What's your fun?
Okay.
Actually, during that scene when they're going, what is that? And something was knocking on their tent. The actors didn't know that was going to happen. That was like the directors messing with their tent. And like, obviously they know they're shooting a movie, but it's still scary in the dead of night. And then one of the directors had put on like a white cloak, and they were supposed to as they were running, take the camera and show this like white figure in the distance, but the actors were running and forgot to do it. And that's when they
Thank
made the
God.
decision to not show the monster or the witch at all.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool because that was, I agree, I loved that scene. I think it was so well done, and I'm glad they went that direction.
Yeah. What a happy accident. And it's cool. I think that's one of those stories that show like how indie of a film Blair Witch Project was, where it was literally like, we cannot afford to reshoot this, so all right, we're keeping it out, and it winds up being a better movie because of it. I think there's a lot of like lesson there for like indie filmmakers in general, that like, look, it's okay if things go wrong. You can still have a movie with a lot of mistakes, because things like the Blair Witch Project happens and it becomes prolific.
Yeah. And I think going back to like the, you don't show the monster, I think what makes the first Saw movie so effective is that they don't show like that he's cutting straight into his foot. You don't see the entire time him cutting. It's the cutaways, then quick cut back to it. I think that kind of thing makes it the Blair Witch effective, that we don't see a monster. We don't see the and we lost Bill. We don't see the I lost my train of thought right there.
We don't
Losing
see
Bill.
the
We lost
violence.
the Bill to the Blair Witch, guys.
Yeah, I think I can finish your thought. Like, yeah, we don't see 100%. You don't have to show how graphic it is. You don't have to show who your monster is. You don't have to show the most scariest parts of the film in order for it to be scary.
Yeah, and like one of the biggest examples of that is the original Funny Games, where
Yes, I love that movie.
where they spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, they're killing a child, and you hear the screams off scene, like off screen, but you just see one of the characters just deadpan face of like just doing something else while it's happening. And that's what makes it so terrifying, because like, oh my god, what are they doing to this child right now?
Yeah. Yeah, less is more.
Yeah, I like the part where you could hear him screaming in the woods, but they just left it at that. They didn't go any further with it. You didn't end up seeing anything. I like that part also.
Let's talk about the ending. What you guys believe happened, because there's a couple theories out there of what the reality of the situation is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I think the most famous one that I've heard, I think, is that the two guys were planning on killing her. That's the one that I've heard. I am not the biggest fan of that theory. I like to be more in the, yes, this is the Blair Witch, like Blair Witch got all of them because they disrespected her. But I could see at points where that could be the case, but there's other times where I'm like, the theory doesn't really make sense that they would go out of their way to kill her.
It's a really weird theory. That's not character motivated at all, really, right?
Yeah.
Like, do they ever I don't know why that would be. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Is that like a widely accepted theory?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say accepted, but definitely a popular one.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's definitely like thought provoking, but I
what's
just
the context?
that one doesn't make sense to me.
I went this time watching it thinking of that theory. And I was like, no, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the amount of effort that is made throughout the movie for, like, certain Blair Witch things happening, when would these two bumbling idiots of men decide, I'm going to put all of these sticks up in this pattern to scare Heather? When am I going to build all of these rock stuff and all of this to scare her? Where am I going to get these teeth to scare? Like, it all just seems so over the top and not necessary.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably that theory is to smooth over some gaps in like the screenwriting, why certain things happen the way it's like, it's like, what if they were like trying to like kill her the whole time? Like, it's like, I don't know.
It seems almost a cop out.
Right, like is that why they're so bumbling? Like they're just pretending,
Yeah. What do you think, Austin Michael?
So the way I understood it was like they described the old man who, made one kid stand in the corner while they killed the other, and then he killed the one that was standing in the corner after. That's what I figured. Like the main guy, Mike, was it Mike? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he just like got possessed somehow or like influenced to stand in the corner, and then when Heather ran in the room, she got killed, and then Mike gets killed after that. That's what I understood.
But then what happens to Josh? With that?
Oh, he's got an answer.
Well, I saw both of your theories actually, and then to expand on Austin Michaels, so they talk about the murderer's house getting destroyed, and I saw a theory saying that when they crossed that initial like log bridge, they kind of went into another time warped zone where like the house was still standing and it hadn't been destroyed. And I saw a theory, what was his name? Josh, the first one to go missing?
Yeah.
Where the Blair Witch obviously is a witch and kind of acts through other people. So the theory was that she like took over Josh, and when they enter the house, the one guy goes to stand in the corner, and then Heather comes down, and Josh is the one that kills them, with the Blair Witch obviously controlling him. So I liked that theory. I thought it made a lot of sense, but I don't know if that was something that the writers had intended or someone made up after the fact.
Yeah, and I don't know either. Savannah, what do you think?
I mean, kind of like Austin Michael. I'm just kind of taking it how I assume they want it, you know? Like, yeah, he stood in the corner, like, in the story, and, I mean, Josh kind of went missing, like the kids did, that they mentioned in the very beginning, and, yeah, I think she got killed by the Blair Witch. I don't have, like, an extended theory for it, or, like, anything interesting to say about the ending.
I like the theory though that Josh got possessed by the Blair Witch. I think that one makes sense to me.
It was probably painful with hearing his screams in the woods. That possession that happens to him.
Mm-hmm.
But then what if the Blair Witch was screaming through him to draw them out of their tent?
That's true. Yeah.
What if, let me take this a step further. What if the Blair Witch was with them the entire time?
So, yeah, I saw this theory that that she was under the influence of the Blair Witch kind of the whole time. I don't know how much merit there is to that, but apparently there was some extended universe stuff where she like was having dreams about the Blair Witch and that she was actually influenced to go on this trip or whatever. And then everything that happened was unconsciously like her doing.
Oh, wow. I actually haven't heard that one part.
I like that theory, because I mean it would make sense how she had the map and the compass and was still just taking them like further away from their location, you know. I think that's interesting.
The theory that I think I like the more I hear it is that there is an interview in the very beginning. You know, they're interviewing a bunch of the local people in the town, and there's a theory that the woman Mary Brown, she's a very old, her like face is very skinny, woman that they interview at her house. The theory is that she is the Blair Witch, and you see her in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and the clues that get, well, the stuff that backs up the theory is that if you notice the footage of when they're going up to her house, she has stick diagrams on her fence. Her gate is made of them. She has the stones in her house as well, and she's the one that has like the most vivid description of the Blair Witch, because it's like her soul that like saw it, and because it was in her, they passed it along. This woman passes it to them as soon as they meet her.
I like that one.
The first time I heard it was actually right after I watched it, and I didn't believe it. And then going back, it's like this has the most connection to the very beginning.
Because then also they had described a little girl like going in the woods, and that was her. And like the hunting, the search party who came after her were the guys who got like tied up on that rock.
Yeah.
So like maybe she was behind that as a child. She had witchly powers and made that happen to them.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a cool one.
I think this conversation is why I love like horror movies in general. Just that there's so many different ways that you could take a movie, and the thought processes that people go through to like think of like how it works. We talked about Skinamarink and how there's like countless like theories about what it's about. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is what makes the horror genre so important. That you could do that. And I know you could do it with like drama films and like things like that, but it feels different within the horror landscape. I feel like horror is very much so a community of people that at the end of the day just want horror to be successful even if they don't particularly like the movie coming out. That I can't really say the same about other like fan bases of genres.
Yeah.
I will say, after this discussion, I certainly appreciate the movie more. Again, not that I didn't find it boring, but I certainly appreciate it more after hearing all these perspectives.
Yeah, it's like I think like ultimately like Blair Witch is not like I like that you brought up Skinamarink Ryan. Watch our review at Three Strangers podcast, but it's one of those very experiential things where it's like you kind of got to be willing to give into it a little bit, right? I would say that the horror in general is something you kind of got to let yourself, like if you go in and you're like, I'm not gonna be scared, like it takes a very like particularly kind of horror movie to like get you out of that. But I think maybe if Blair Witch works for you, that's really great. If it doesn't work for you, that's kind of also great in a different way. It's like like an experience, and yeah, I'm kind of with you, Austin, Michael. It's great hearing you guys talk about it, and especially people that are a little more positive, like on the spectrum with it. It's giving me actually quite a bit to think about. I don't think we're gonna have like a Grinch, heart my Blair Witch is not gonna, it's not gonna grow 3 sizes. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry, but it's definitely glad to hear that there is stuff that you guys got out of it that I didn't. And that's good. That's great.
Yeah, and I know like some people, some listeners out there probably thinking like, but what about the way that the director chose, directors put what am I trying to say? The hell that the directors put their actors through. I think it really walks the line of how much is too much. I don't believe that it was too much ever because of how on site they were. I mean, there was nothing emergency related that was going to happen without the immediate help of a crew. And so it was a very controlled, chaotic environment, despite them manipulating the amount of food that they had every day, which I heard about too, where like they didn't like starve them. They didn't starve them. They did not starve them. They would like give them like camping ration meals or whatever, through like 7 days of filming or 8 days of filming, and then they slightly lowered the amount every day. And it was just little things that were supposed to build tension, and like there's an argument there to like the way that it's supposed to treat actors. But again, like I think this like really captured the indie film part of this, where you're kind of doing whatever you can. Like I don't believe that the actors were ready to like flip out on the directors and crew. I think it was just like these little things that they realized all added up, and that really like enhanced the reality of the experience.
Yeah, they just didn't run out of money. It's like, all part of the experience, guys.
The Blair Witch was eating their camp rations, building up power.
Yeah, it seems that we have less food than we had before. Okay, well, anyway.
Did the actors really have to camp?
One night they did. I think one night they did camp over the night of it, and that's when they did the tent shots.
And we've talked about Cannibal Holocaust. Like I refuse to watch it because
I hate that movie.
The director of that movie, may he rot in hell, was a terrible person. And like, forcing actresses to have to film scenes and like scream at them when they're like, maybe I feel uncomfortable with like filming this, or like not protecting people in a burning, like not paying them to like protect them, killing endangered animals, like maybe let's not support him. And
I can see her face. Yeah, it was the worst experience.
It's
to
one
watch
sense. Yeah, it's like one step above like a snuff film. Yeah, it's a banned movie.
Yeah, all of that for the movie to still be ass. Also, like,
but also have a soundtrack that goes crazy hard for no reason. But I refuse to watch that movie. I will not watch it because of that director. So the conditions comparatively to Blair Witch, I'm okay with watching Blair Witch with how the director was with them. I don't think it was anything near like.
Were they compensated fairly afterwards? Because I know it only had a budget of like $30,000, right?
They were not.
Okay, then I think that's messed up.
On Blair Witch?
Yeah, but not the director's fault. That's more the production company fault, not the directors themselves. Like they're trying to get more money because of the success of it, and there was a compensation like controversy with the film.
Which does happen a lot in Hollywood.
Yeah,
that, like the film does really well, and like the actors don't get like residuals from the profits. They just kind of get like a standard thing of like, whatever their agent had them get paid. That's what they get paid.
Yeah. There was also a case when the second film came out about like using their likeliness within it and not paying them. And I think I read it was like a $300,000 settlement that like each of them got $300,000, but I kind of insane with the amount of money that Blair Witch made that they only got $300,000.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Did any of you watch the second one?
Long time ago.
No,
Yeah,
I have not.
it's not very
I've
good.
not-
It's bad.
In my opinion. Yeah. Okay.
It's
We
bad.
just-
I feel like we
it's-
can. It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
Bad like
Yeah.
this one was bad, or bad like bad?
Like actually.
Like bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. And then
Like,
the
it's like-
remake, there was like a remake of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's a different movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also bad.
Yeah. Also not. Yeah. It only gets worse.
It
Actually,
becomes the
probably-
thing of like, you know what? Like what we say that's good about this one. We're not going to show the monster. We're not going to. Those ones are like we're going to show everything that we possibly can. So it's not as good.
Okay.
It's not like the Saw movies where they're going to start showing more and like they get worse, because at least that you have the soap opera aspect of them that's very fun, and you have like Duck Lips Hoffman that we get
Yes.
to watch, so it's enjoyable still. But yeah, the other Blair Witches are not good. But at this time, we do this with our movies. 1 sentence review of Blair Witch, or like your Rotten Tomatoes quote, or whatever you would like to say about Blair Witch. Give you guys a few seconds to think about it. And at this time, while they are thinking, I just want to thank everyone for watching, getting to 50 episodes. Very exciting. We already have 51 filmed. 52. I'm going to torture Nick and Bill again with the Connections horror game.
No way.
Ryan, we actually have there's a director who we got sent a movie that we might be doing.
Episode 53, baby.
53.
We're going to be...
Torture. We'll be back in the torture chamber.
I also got an email that I'll read to you guys off air
Nice.
about something that we're definitely not going to do, but I don't want to put them on blast like that.
Oh.
All right.
Yes.
I'll tell you guys off air for that one.
Okay. Yeah.
But the twist with the Connections game is Savannah has wanted to go against you guys on this, and
Now.
last place is no longer a 3 stranger.
What the hell?
No, okay.
What the hell? Okay, I thought it was gonna be crazy. Because I remember when Nick and I went head to head, and we were doing so poorly that we kind of just started working together against you, Ryan.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. It was pretty tough to see.
And we did okay that way. I think we did okay that way.
I recall one of them really frustrating me, and actually it's making me angry just to think about it. So
That's why I'm very excited to do this again. I already have some good ones
oh, that's great.
for that.
It's wonderful.
So let's start with Nick. Your 1 sentence
With me?
review of Blair Witch.
Okay, let me see if I can capture this. Like,
Oh, nice, dude. Nice.
There you
yeah, I think. So I got the lamp up.
I love this.
I think. While the ethics around Blair Witch may be questionable, I think that Blair Witch provides a really terrifying experience, and vulnerable panic attacks shown on camera quite well. I think it's a great exploration of fear out in the woods and what happens when we feel lost. And if
Very
any,
nice.
and for the listeners, I tried to my best to do a rendition of the monologue in it and failed. So.
Yeah. I would say that was whatever they got paid in Blair Witch level. performance there.
That was pretty accurate.
Yeah, without taking into account inflation.
That was your $10 performance right there.
Yeah, that's about there.
Pretty authentic.
So then, Austin Michael, what is your one sentence?
Okay. Boring to watch, fun to talk about.
Very
All right.
nice.
What?
Went in with some heat
Boring.
with that one.
Fun to watch, fun to talk about. That's my review.
Agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
What about you, Caitlin?
I'll say that if you're not super into horror, it's the best horror movie you're ever gonna watch. And I'll just add to the listeners, I hope that you all smash that like and subscribe button,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Heather got smashed in that basement.
Yes.
That's so crazier than I thought it would.
Oh, there's two dudes in the.
Yeah, not what I meant by that. I realized that after I said that.
Is that a new theory of what actually went down in the Blair Witch Project?
No.
So
No.
Blair Witch basement.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Alright, my one sentence review of Blair Witch would be the setting to which you watch the Blair Witch is very important. And while at times it may feel a little bit boring compared to what is out nowadays, where everything is kind of balls to the wall, there is a lot of enjoyment to be had in such an important film in horror history.
Well said, Ryan.
All right, Savannah, we're circling back to you before we get to Bill.
Okay. Good acting. Kind of mid-plot. One of my favorite documentary movies. I'll say that.
Okay.
But you don't like documentary movies.
Exactly.
Just little asterisk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Controversial, but I would say I like this. Like, out of the documentary movies I've seen, I would say this is definitely better than other ones, like As Above, So Below. I like this more, but I still don't like it. I don't love it. I like it.
And documentary specific, not found footage.
I mean, I kind of classify them the same, because this one's kind of like found footage, because it's supposed to be that it's, like, found after, like, a year or something, right? I don't know. To me, they're the same.
Yeah, to me, Wreck is just like in a whole different class.
Wreck
I
is
haven't
one of
gotten
the
to
best.
see that yet.
Wreck
I
is
need
one of
to
the
see
best
that.
found footage horror movies
We
ever
gotta
made.
watch that. Ryan,
Yeah.
next time you're in town, we gotta watch that.
I, before I let you go with your sentence, I showed Wreck in my horror class for my
Oh, did
students.
they like it?
They loved it. It is one of their favorites that we watched. It's in a different language, and I was afraid that they're going to be like, it's in a different language. I'm not going to like it. They loved it. And
Good.
there's a specific scare towards the end where I'm not going to say what happens, of course, because I don't want to spoil it, but there's a massive jump scare that one of my students was kind of leaning a little bit back in her chair because she was a little afraid. The jump scare happens. She fell back. Her AirPods went flying, and she was wearing sandals. Her sandal went flying straight up in the air. And if that isn't like what could best describe like the jump scares in that movie, like I don't know, I don't know what could. Yeah, so Caitlin, you should watch that one. That's a fun one to.
I don't know if it's for me. That's terrifying. 100th episode anniversary.
Yeah, that's it. Coming next time.
Let's see, we'll let Bill get back in here. I think, I'm a little afraid that Bill's got taken by the Blair Witch at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was back. Yeah, sorry. I was like, no way, it's like my time. Yeah, no, but like, yeah. What are you gonna do? City internet, it just pops out. But you know, honestly, after this conversation, guys, I'm feeling like, you know, I went in with like a lot of hate. I went in with a lot of malcontent. I'm feeling kind of zen, right? And to that end, I actually wrote you guys a haiku.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope that's okay.
A haiku.
And a haiku
Ready.
will serve as my review of Blair Witch. Now, I did play kind of fast and loose with the syllables on it. I hope that's okay. I believe it's supposed to be it's 575.
575.
Right? 575.
Yeah.
So this is okay. Bear with me here. Bear with me.
No.
No, the Blair Witch said no.
Oh my
Scary
gosh,
for me.
that's funny. Okay, all right.
This is
Bill,
getting
we're ready.
scary.
No.
No, the Blair Witch has taken Bill.
Oh,
no,
he's shaking right now.
Oh, he's
I'm
gone.
so scared.
He's gone.
The listeners have no idea what's happening. It's just completely silent. Man, it just says issue. Bill's mic and cam already in use. The Blair Witch has. This is the theory that the Blair Witch like took Josh and like it took Bill.
Oh my
Guys,
god.
I would be afraid like tonight.
All right, quick!
I
Let's
am
everybody
afraid.
turn around and freak him out.
Okay, I'll turn around.
Oh my god. I think I'm back. Holy crap, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make this so quick. I can't let the bit use anymore. But you can hear me? I'm good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
okay. I'm gonna wrap this up, finish strong. Movie called Blair Witch. Okay, so movie called Blair Witch. Long time listeners know my thoughts. Okay?
Okay.
Not
clever.
not for me. That's fine. Okay, I think we kind of got there.
Very
Sorry,
nice.
guys. Like, my
Alright,
computers on like life
yeah.
support. But like, jeez, thanks, guys. Seriously though, like with like final concluding like thoughts and everything. Like, you know, I know we talked a lot about like the sort of history of Blair Witch and everything. But like even if like I'm not I don't think I'm alone. And like we shared other people. We had guests on that didn't necessarily like super vibe with Blair Witch, like like it wasn't like their favorite like horror experience. But I don't think we can deny sort of its like spot not only in like like found like footage stuff, but also sort of it's pop culture, right? Kind of like like it's like status like as like a popcorn movie. And yeah, no, I'm I'm glad that we were able to talk about it. And I it's almost like when you talk things through, you kind of realize that maybe, you don't have the whole story. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, sorry, I was gonna somehow cleverly round it back to world events, but, I'm afraid my PC is gonna die before I do that, so, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you, guys.
His heart grew 3 sizes,
It's
guys.
true, it's true. Wait a second. I kind of like the Blair. No, sorry, but no, it's gonna take maybe it's more of a journey that I'm willing to take. Watch Wreck. Watch Lake Mungo, I believe.
Lake
Yeah,
Mungo.
Lake
Great
Mungo.
Great
Oh, I
suggestion.
hate that.
What? Come on.
What?
Ah.
No longer the fourth stranger.
You can't
Oh,
do
boy.
that. You don't have the
Episode
authority.
1 will be Lake Mungo Clash. Okay, that's gonna be fun. All right. Yeah.
Oh, Lake Mungo is good. Lake Mungo is good, Kate, because it's more sad than it is scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does
But it's
that make
also
it good?
Yeah, it's just like the emotional. It's like it's really an emotional thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's very at the end of it you're sad instead of like haunted.
Wait,
Yeah,
Ryan, we
it's-
watched that one, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
It's about like a girl who dies. She drowns.
Yep, that's it.
And that's not a spoiler. It happens in the first like 2-3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie itself is like seeing the grief that her family is going through and like how it impacted the town and then the weird things that led to her death.
I remember liking that one.
Lake Mungo's really good.
No.
Sorry, Savannah. Okay, you should watch Lake Mungo. But
I want to know why Savannah hates it.
there's and I won't talk about it too much without getting too spoilery. There's one image from that movie, and anyone that's seen it probably knows what I'm talking about, that like lives with me absolutely rent free.
Yeah.
It's like truly one of the most terrifying things that I think I've ever seen on screen. But anyway,
Just picture like one of the most boring, worst movies you've
Oh
ever
my
seen,
gosh.
and that's like
No.
Wow. Wow.
come on.
Oh man.
So
But-
anyway,
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you of course Nick and Bill for being here all the time. I love being able to talk to you guys about movies. This is honestly like what makes my day whenever we're able to film together. Thank you of course to our wonderful guests Savannah, Austin Michael, and Caitlin If you don't already, follow Caitlin Erin O'Neill on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel. She makes absolute bangers. She has a podcast. She does so much. Is there anything else that you want to plug that I didn't there?
Just the podcast Heartbreak Hotel. We're actually launching season 2 today. I'm going to post it right after.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Tune in.
You guys are going to have to come on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Talk about Lake Mungo.
Yes. Hotel horror movie edition.
Yes, I love it. Thank
And
you
of
guys for
course-
having me. This is always so fun.
No, thank you.
you're
No
welcome.
problem. You're
You guys-
always welcome on. If there's ever a movie that you want to like talk about that you see that you're like, I want to talk about this, we are down.
I have many. I just watched Bone Lake last night.
Whoa.
I have some thoughts.
Ooh.
Crazy one.
Okay.
Have you
Another
done
time.
Signs? Have you guys done Signs yet?
No. We've referenced it because we've done. We've talked Alien.
Signs a lot.
Yeah.
And the Thing.
Okay,
Definitely
I can
referenced
talk
it.
all day about Signs. You guys
If
let me
you
know.
do Signs, Austin, Michael, and I have to be here. That is our movie.
Okay.
Oh man, the alien's taking Bill now, guys.
No.
All right. Well.
Oh,
Poor Bill.
unfortunately, poor Bill. But again, thank you, of course, to our wonderful listeners. It's been a great 50 episodes. You know, hope you keep on listening. We're going to try and make some fun content, bring on some really fun guests. We have a lot of things planned for the future to be excited for. So be on the lookout for that. And on that note, if you talk bad about the Blair Witch, she will kick you out of a Riverside recording.
Like my strength is waning, and clearly my computer strength is waning. Something supernatural is at play. I'm sure it's definitely.
Oh man.
I'm almost sure of it.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
listening.
Bye, guys.